Hey guys, welcome back to One Row at a Time. I'm Juan,
I'm Marty.
aka Professor Marty, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
First episode of the new year. It's gonna be epic, man. It's gonna be epic. We got a lot of things coming up. You guys already got a taste of it with Cynthia, our first guest. Been hearing a lot of good reviews and
She
seen
killed it.
Yeah.
You see all those views?
Yeah.
Man, so many more views. Why? Just Cynthia? You guys watch just because of
We're gonna have to
Cynthia?
bring her
Jeez,
back. We
man.
need more
Yeah.
people here. What?
Bring her back. She's gonna be a recurring guest.
Yeah, after 10, 11 episodes, they're tired of us. But great news, we're gonna have more guests. We're locking them in. We're scheduling them. There's gonna be some good topics, some hot topics, and I talk about the store. You know what I'm saying? Remember that store?
Yeah.
That store, classic. Rebecca's too young for that. But speaking of being too young, you're never too young to be a great training partner. And we wanted to make this episode and cover this topic because we're going to have a lot of people who are new coming into the gym, a lot of great energy, the enthusiasm, right? People trying to change their lives. I think I saw some new faces today.
Yeah.
Right now when I came in.
There's a couple new people or new kids in the kids class.
Mm-hmm.
New people trying the class out tonight. It was good.
Yeah.
It's really good to see everybody. Yeah.
And even for the people who've been doing it for a while, it's always good to kind of get a refresher on how to be a good training partner, right? So the first thing that we want to start off with is the most important thing, right? A good training partner keeps people safe. What do you want to talk about that?
And that you're rolling with at that moment. Whoever you're rolling with, whoever you're training with, take good care of them. You're rolling, you're trying to catch submissions, you're trying to choke them out, things like that. But ultimately, do you want to hurt them? No, you want them to come back. You want to help them get better. They want to help you get better. So make sure that they can keep coming back to class and training with you. So if they're not tapping to the armbar, don't crake it. If they're not tapping to the ankle lock, don't crake it. If they don't tap to the choke, maybe they go to sleep and they learn a lesson that way. But be careful with the joint manipulations. You don't need to break somebody's arm. You're not proving any points to anybody.
Yeah. And it goes both ways, right? I've been the bad training partner
Of not tapping.
And then it's like, did I even escape or did Marty just not break my arm?
Yeah.
You know? So
that's a really good point. Like I always think about my very first coach, Andrew, a very important conversation that he had with the whole class. And it's always stuck with me, was when he was telling all of us, if you get your arm broken, it's almost more your fault than the person who broke it because you should have tapped. And if you don't tap, what you're doing is you're communicating to the person that you're rolling with that they're doing something wrong. And they keep manipulating to try to finish it and get you to tap. And then it ends up your arm is broken.
Yeah.
So it's just as much on you to tap and be responsible with your body and not put your partner in a position where they have to actually hurt you.
Yeah. Because whether you're new or old, whether you're new to training or have done it for a while, we talk about it a lot. It's a lot of like micro adjustments. So it's literally what you're saying. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, it's not right. And if I adjust or do it tighter, then they tap. But if on that reverse end, if you're not, then they're adjusting, they're tightening, they're pulling harder. And you don't want to do it when it's too late. So one thing is like really like focus on that control over winning rounds. But also if you're being submitted, it's okay to tap. It just restarts. I mean, I saw, and even when I wrote with you, it's like 20 taps and then like that, we just go again. And then also like knowing when to slow down as well. Right? Like we've talked about this in the past, but again, we want to talk about it more because it's important. Not every round has to be a war. Have some more technique focused rounds, right? And communicate with your partner.
If you talk to your partner, you can figure that out instead of just assuming and people having hurt feelings. Like you'll walk in, you'll roll, you're in the mood to roll hard, you're in the mood to get like a great workout, and you roll with a guy who's there thinking that he's just going to be flowing, and then you end up, not necessarily hurting him, but like putting him in a position where he's not enjoying the experience with you, training with you, because he was looking for something else. And it was just like, if you would have talked about it, you would have known. You know what I mean? Like, hey, are you good? What are you trying to get out of the training today? What are you trying to get out of the role with me? If they're like, hey, I want to be dripping in sweat by the time I leave here. I want to be like worked to the point where I almost puke.
Yeah.
Then you're rolling hard with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
If he's like, hey, I'm just trying to get a couple flow rolls in today, I'm nursing an injury or something like that,
Yeah.
then just to go 30-40% with them and go back and forth. And that prevents anybody from getting hurt. Like, you figure that stuff out over time as you come in and you get to know your teammates, and each person has like a signature about them, about the way that they like to roll and the things that they like to do. And you figure that out over time, but it will be something that you figure out much faster if you just talk.
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, what's the expectations?
And that's why we're doing this podcast, because you don't know. You wouldn't know. Like, yeah, why are we gonna figure it out either after someone gets hurt or after you get hurt, when it's like literally, if you come in, especially as a new student, and you can talk to someone and be like, hey, like, even just that, it's okay to be like, hey, I'm new. I saw it today, like, hey, I'm new. I'm a white belt. I'm barely learning, either like kind of flow or like I'm sitting out this round. And then they were both like, oh, cool. And then they just moved on to the next person. So one thing that we'd like to give you are the action items. So the action item for this topic is like, roll with that person like you want to train with them tomorrow. Because you said it, I think we were talking about with Louis earlier before he left. Shout out Louis. It's like that's the only way you get better. So if you're out here cranking and hurting everyone, you're not gonna get better either. So yeah. And then we talked about that, matching the energy in the room. Like, be mindful, knowing even with the class, like, hey, you'll sense it, like it's kind of more of like a drilling class, or is it a competition class? Like, just come in ready to adapt. And if you do need those rounds, like Marty said, like, talk about it. No one's gonna say, well, they will say no, but then you ask, so you
Yeah,
can't
it's
get
like,
your.
all right, he doesn't want to roll like that. She doesn't want to roll like that. That's fine. Juan, you're trying to get a hard roll? All right, man, let's go do it. Like, there's going to be somebody who's going to give you something closer.
Yeah,
To
someone will step
yeah,
up
you
if
know what
you're
I mean?
asking for hard
Like,
rolls.
if you're looking to work off some steam, you had a rough day at work or something like that, you just want to go hard, somebody will do that with you. But just check in and make sure that
Yeah, we talk about jujitsu like translating into real life. It's literally like communication. Like, it's just that. Like, someone will want to help you out. The next one is ego ruins training fast.
yeah, ruins training, ruins relationships. Like, the best relationships that you're going to make, you're going to find in your school, whether it's here at Adiyama or at any other school. But you can torpedo that, or you can stop it from developing by being a person who is overly focused on proving that you're really tough, or just hunting relentlessly for submissions. There's a couple guys this week that are kind of banged up and injured here because we had somebody in who was, a little bit over the top about the way that they were going after stuff. And people are now going to be out for a few days resting and, trying to recover because, there were people that were overly focused on not understanding that you can improve without going 200%. You don't have to go 200% to get better at jujitsu. And so then you end up hurting people, and then people avoid you. And that's the last thing that you want. You don't want your teammates to avoid you.
I think that's the hardest thing to learn. Like, the mindset of like tapping is okay.
Yeah.
Like, tap early, tap often, because it took me
But don't tap
forever.
to pressure.
Yeah, never to pressure.
Let's make sure we're clear about that. Don't tap to pressure. We don't want that. We don't want tapping to pressure. But but even still, like, especially early on when you don't know the difference between pressure and what's dangerous, just tap.
Yeah.
And when I say early on, like anywhere in white belt, anywhere you're at in white belt, you should be tapping sooner rather than later so that you understand the difference, and then ask, was that really dangerous, or was I just super uncomfortable? And you learn every time you have those conversations. But yeah, tap as much as possible. Protect your body. Don't have an ego. Don't let yourself get hurt.
Yeah, because that's when you have the mentality of like winning is only actually winning or not getting submitted. That's when you spaz out, in the sense. And when we say spaz out, it's like doing something like at 200% when your partner's not expecting the 200%, twisting weird, like because that's when people get hurt, right? When you have that mentality where it would have just been avoided. It's like, hey, I'm caught. You got me. Tap, like reset,
Yep.
right? Um, and then yeah, it's like, hey, like it will slow down your learning because you're either gonna get hurt, you're gonna hurt someone, or you'll notice like maybe not everyone avoids you, so you'll still get people to roll with you, but you'll notice like a change in the rules. Those people are gonna be a lot more cautious. It's not gonna be as like realistic, or you're not gonna get much out of it. And then Marty will obviously have talked to you. If you're he talked to me. If you're one of the people if you're one of the people, right? But it's good to know, right? So come in and kind of know like what's expected of a good training partner.
And also on the other side of that, since we're talking about both sides of the coin there,
Yeah.
like if there's someone that you don't want to roll with and that you avoid, don't be awkward and weird and just like avoid eye contact with them. Talk to them and tell them, hey, like I'm not gonna roll with you tonight. I last couple times I rolled with you, I didn't enjoy it. I tweaked my leg, something here happened. And I'm just not interested in like getting into that situation. And like I guarantee you they're gonna be like, what? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize that happened. What did I do? And you can talk through it, and that helps them. Like that helps everybody when you're willing to do that. Don't just, ice people.
Yeah.
Talk through it.
Yeah. And that takes us right to our next point. Well, before we move on to the next point, the action item there is like, hey, focus on learning something in every class or every role instead of winning in the sense of like you didn't tap me or it took you this long to tap me. Communication makes everything better. And so, which is what you're saying, right? Like, it's okay. And I think that's why we have like, such a good culture here at Arayama is because we do talk about it. We talk things through, like, even like if things, we either tell Marty, right? Which is something that you're awesome at, like, hey, let me know. Like, if it is weird.
I gotta manage it.
Yeah.
I like it's my responsibility to be all over what's happening here from a culture standpoint and from a relationship standpoint. And if like there is like brewing tension because people don't want to roll or people are rolling aggro, I've got to deal with it. So if it's something that you don't want to do, talk to me and I'll deal with it, and we'll leave names out of it and things like that. But let me make sure I'm informed so that I can, do my best
Yeah.
to manage how our culture is developing and growing.
Yeah, and that's where it comes like giving that helpful feedback, right? Whether it's after the class and then even I didn't even think of that when you were talking about like it's better to just tap, right, when you're learning and then after ask like after the role like be like, "Hey, where well, especially if you're learning, you have no clue. You'll just feel like things, right? You'll feel and be like, "Hey, was that an actual joint log or not?" Or like that like or if you sent someone like it's basically like maybe they're, maybe Tyson's rolling a little different. You'll start to notice people and then be like, "Hey, are you okay? Is everything good?" And he could be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." And that's cool. We'll keep it going. Or it's like that. Like I'll be like, "Hey, I didn't sleep that much. Like I'm just kind of like working on technique," and then
I'm
he'll
trying to be
adjust.
here
Yeah.
still, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm out of it. So
Mm-hmm.
if we could just
Yeah.
flow,
Mm-hmm.
for now, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that. That a simple habit is just like that. Like, and I've really had it, especially when I come to nights with people who I don't roll that often. They'll be like, "Hey, is there anything? Are you working on anything right now?" Like, it's just part of it, so it won't even seem like out of place. Like when you want to be a good training partner. Um, the next one is actually like be the training partner you'd want to be as a beginner. So one thing that like I really make a big emphasis on is to like welcome everyone, even like if I'm not like in the class enrolling, because I know like that makes a huge impact. It's already like kind of nerve wracking showing up. And then just seeing people like, hey, they want me to be here. Like you want everyone to be here and you make it a point of that. What are other things that you would have wanted like when you first started like, or that people were great training partners when you started?
Um,
I see the smile.
I think that's a really no. It's like I think back to my first. No, I didn't get hazed, but it was like, um, and this was 2009, so it was a different time in jiu-jitsu, but like I walked into a school and it was like I w- this this FNG, new guy. Everybody was cold, yeah, and I got ragdolled. But um and once I stuck around a while, and then I became, everybody warmed up and everything like that. But it was very much like a prove yourself culture at that time, like prove you can make it. And like I don't want that. I don't want that for us. I don't want you to walk in and feel like, there's a guy sitting in the corner like looking at you like I'm gonna destroy I'm gonna destroy the trial class guy, like yeah, that's a real thing. That's how that happened to me when I first started. There was a guy, I remember we had a big punching bag laying on the mat, and I stepped onto the mat, and he was sitting on the punching bag over in the corner, and he was like, his elbows were on his knees, and he just looked up at me, and I just got a bad feeling from that dude, and he beat me up, man. He beat me up. Yeah, for Lawrence, shout out to Lawrence. If you ever see this, Lawrence, I didn't forget that, man.
Hey, man.
Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it is.
um, and like it's a fond memory that I have now, but like that makes a lot of people quit jujitsu. That makes a lot of people not want to be in the community of jujitsu. And I'm not trying to soften it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like we can ramp people up instead of picking them up and dropping them on their head. You don't have to do that.
Instead of like that, like,
Yeah.
are you tough? Can you keep up?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, can you keep up? And if not, too bad.
Yeah.
Rather than like, hey, we can all get better. Dang, well, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't smash all the white belts. Give them time. And then one thing that I know, like I said, shout out to all the new people who are coming in because Hayato, I got to roll with him a little bit. He was we were just like that. Like he was he was ready to learn and like that, like one thing, I mean, I don't know, you can correct me, maybe I'm wrong, but like when that first roll, especially like in their first class, I like to like show them at least a move or two.
Yeah.
And then be like, hey, cool, we spent that round learning, showing them a little bit of the technique, and then the next round going. And yeah, I noticed he was like already like applying those things, and it kind of like a little bit of the game, so it makes it fun too on your first couple of days instead of just like getting destroyed by Lawrence.
I agree 100%. Yeah. And there are some people that come in and they just want to fight. And you deal with it the way that you deal with it, but there are other people like, hey, what are the rules of the game? Here's the rules of the game. Here's how you score points. Here's how you get into control positions. Maybe I'll spend a little time showing you that so that, you're not just like,
Yeah, they're ready to
like,
go.
what do I do? You know what I mean? We shake hands and I'm like, where do we go from here? Well, you want to pass my guard, you want to score points, you want to get into control positions, have that type of a conversation. So I think that was great. And I saw Ben was working with him, you were working with him. It was great to see Tyson was working with him. It was great to see everybody. And he's Hayato is a smart guy. He's when you're teaching class and I look up and I could see the focus, from certain people, and he's one of those people. So he's going to pick it up quick. But yeah, I always worry in the first couple of weeks with new people. Like, I'm very like hovering. I'm a hover parent, like I don't want them to get smashed and hurt and things like that, and be like, oh, this isn't for me, or take something personal because they don't understand the game yet. And so they think you were just unnecessarily rough or mean to them or something like that. So, yeah, I try to keep them like have a conversation. Here's the rules. Here's what you're trying to do. Let's watch people roll and watch what they do. Look, and I explain sitting next to them, hey, this is what they're doing. This is what he's trying to do. This is what he's trying to do, and give them a little bit of the concept of it that way. I think that's a good way to approach it so that people kind of get an idea for what they should do when they actually do it. Do it live.
It's not all submissions all the time because that's all they see, the highlight reels. Nice. And like that, like and like that, like you gotta one thing is always like that, like whether it's at your job, you're teaching someone like a new hire what to do, right? Like or here on the mats, it's like remember what it was like when you first started. Like remember what it was like being a white belt. Because for us it could be hey, yeah, put him in guard. Like, why is this guy getting this? I'm trying to teach him this old Plata, right? And it's like, so being patient. Well, yeah, right? And like that. Hey, good partners create the great gyms,
Yep.
right? So, thank you guys for being part and welcoming everyone. Um, for the the next one would be consistency is better than being the toughest person, like as a partner. I think with that, like being someone who like shows up regularly, and we got a lot of people all over, either whether it's the morning, noon, the kids, and the night classes that like, even if it's those 2 days, they're gonna be there those 2 days.
Yeah.
Um, how does that help out like being a good training partner when you're here consistently?
I think about it in two ways. I think about a person that you walk in and you see a familiar face, a face that you're connected with, somebody that you respect and you like training with, and you see them here every time you walk in and you're happy to see them. Like, I think that about you. I think that about Waylon, Ben, Tyson. Um, when we have people walk in, and AJ and Josh, and when people walk in and see those guys that they like, Ricky has been very consistent. Jason has been very consistent. You walk in, you see those guys, and you're like, oh, great. Ricky's here. I get to train with Ricky. I enjoy training with that guy. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
That consistency brings more people in and gets other people to be more consistent because they're looking forward to training with you.
Yeah.
And then there's the consistency and what that just does for your game. Like, I would prefer you be consistent when you first start and showing up 2 days a week rather than 5 days a week when you first start. 2 days for your first like 3 to 4 weeks because your body needs time to recover and deal with everything that's happening to you,
Yeah.
all the mat burns and, like all the stuff that you're experiencing, you need to heal.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to be here 5, 6 days a week early on, you're just racking up a bunch of stuff that
It'll catch up.
is going to catch up to you. Um, like, I don't know how Tyson's doing it. I thought Tyson
Gonna
was,
say shout out. I saw on the Reddit, the Adayamo Reddit that he's over here. He's gonna do like 120 classes in 30 days. So he's going for
yeah, he's on performance enhancing magic.
yeah, it is.
We have verified
I
he
don't know
doesn't
how he
take
does
any
it.
PEDs, but he does take PEMs,
Yeah,
performance enhancing magic.
he does it.
But not everybody can be like Tyson. And look, he deals with a bunch of stuff. He's got messed up shoulders and stuff. And
That nose. If you roll with Tyson,
yeah, oh
watch
yeah,
out for the nose,
he was kicked in the
please.
face. Yeah.
Correct.
But
It goes
yeah.
into that like
And he ramped up. He ramped up. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't here 5 days a week, 2 a day at first. He was doing 2 or 3 days. He got himself going, and then once he established that, he was here. He started getting here as much as he has been. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is 2 days a week consistently is better than 4 days this week, not here next week, 1 day the week after, 3 days the week after, two, 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 two coming in. Renee, man, Renee's, he's a,
city.
yeah, he's a secret like 2, 3 day a week guy.
And he knows he has a plan. Shout out Renee. He has it all planned. He knows where he's gonna be at. And like that, one thing that it also helps is like it makes like your roles better because like you learn to trust and also like that, like you're like, oh, like Marty already knows I always go for this. So let me try something different. Right? Because you get stuck even with the rather than doing the same thing, you're like, he knows what's coming, so I need to work on something else.
Yep.
Nice. And then with that, I what other thing would you that we haven't covered? Is there anything on the outro right now like that you would want to say to like specifically for the newer people who want to feel like they're contributing because it can be like very overwhelming and even like you feel like you're not giving that other person, especially if they're like a blue purple belt, when we're training together, like, oh man, like they're not getting something out of it, even though maybe you could say about that they are giving something back.
Yeah.
What would you tell that person?
I would tell that person or anybody, there's always something that you can get out of every training partner. and they're like, it happens every time, whether it's the brand new guy who's only been here for a few weeks. Like, you get to roll with that guy and you get to experiment, not with your A game, B game, C game, D game. You get to experiment with your E game, like the
Yeah.
game that you never use, things like that. And so I'm always excited to roll with brand new people because that's my opportunity to go off in different branches of jujitsu, you know what I mean? And try, things that that I don't try, that I don't normally try. And that's the same thing for everybody. So just know, like, hey, um, I'm, I'm not putting any pressure on anybody. I'm not forcing them. I'm not tapping anybody. Don't worry. They're still growing and rolling with you.
Yeah.
Um, and just know that, like, consistency will catch you up fast. Like, a person that I have been watching a lot lately is Ricky. I've named him, I name drop him a few times. Guy's super consistent. His kids train, so he's constantly in it in his mind. He's another guy that, like, I look up and I'm when I'm teaching and I see his eyes locked in. Man, I know.
He's studying.
I watch him drilling, man. His drilling is crisp,
Yeah.
and so then I see him roll and I'm watching his game jumping.
And it's because he's trying that thing.
Yeah, it's
He's not
exactly
going
right.
back
Yeah,
to, like,
yeah,
I notice even when I roll with him, he's
yeah.
trying to hit the
He's
move of the
trying
day.
to
He
hit the
doesn't
move
hit
of the
it
day. Yeah,
sometimes, he
yeah,
does, but
yeah.
he's still doing
But you
it.
have to try it in the live round. Like, you drill it, then you have to try it in the live round. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just drill it and then they default to whatever they think they know to make sure that they win. But Ricky will actually try it, and that's where you learn how to use it.
Mhm.
And like I said, he's a newer addition, but because of the way that he's approaching his training, he's gaining ground on a lot of people. I'm watching him jump. It's really cool to watch. So if you can approach it that way, be super focused while you're in class,
Mhm.
be intentional about it. He's got the benefit of going home and coaching his kids, like you and Josh and, AJ and Waylon. And that helps you, man,
Yeah,
as you're, like, as you're in it mentally more.
My
Yeah.
wife's trying to beat me up all the time.
Yeah, yeah. This guy,
Yeah.
wife and daughter, they completed the trifecta Tuesday as a family.
Hey.
Crazy,
Yeah, they're wild.
crazy.
They pushed me to do it because I was
Yeah,
like, one and done, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But no, everyone's shout out to all the trifecta peeps. There's gonna be more coming in 2026 already. No, but yeah, that and then one thing that you can always do too is, like, if in doubt whether you're pushing enough or maybe pushing too much, ask the person you're drilling with. Be like, oh, is that good resistance? Because yeah, you don't want to be like all floppy, and you don't want to be like resisting 100%. So just ask, because they'll tell you what they need from you.
Yep.
And you can always learn. Marty was proof of that when you said, like, rolling with all the white belts, like, it didn't change you. If anything, it made you better because you were focusing on the technique and all that.
Yeah. Man, you never should think that working on fundamentals and, like, the core jujitsu game is going to make you worse at jujitsu. It doesn't, man. Anything that you sharpen in your game, the cross choke,
Oh,
Moros, standard arm bars, triangles, things like that, you're only getting better. And there's so many different ways to do all of those. Um, like bolo, I'm a big fan of bolos. I'm always talking about bolos. I'm always trying bolos.
everywhere. He sees them everywhere.
Yeah, but you don't need to do that. I saw a funny. It's funny. I say not to look at Instagram for stuff like this, but, like,
Man, you throw me off.
there's a funny
You say
there's a
then you sending me stuff.
yeah, it was a funny meme
Now I want to do it.
on Instagram where it's like one guy is like, it lists off all the stuff that he likes to do, like bolos and, like inverted, this, that, the other, and then the other guy is like smash and pass, and that guy wins, you know what I mean? Because he keeps it simple, and that's all you have to do.
I think I saw one like that too. It was like the guy with the sword, right? He's like, yeah, and the guy's like, fundamentals. Yeah, and that's why, right? We overcomplicate things, right? And that's why we wanted to make this, because for everyone, right? Like, again, obviously, if you're new, you want to show up and be a good training partner. If you're not new, listen to it, reflect. There might be some areas that you're like, oh, I don't do this, or I do this, for the negative examples we gave, right? And then it all starts with that, because the better training partners we can be, the better practitioners we're gonna be, the better gym that we're gonna be. And you already know how we're gonna do this. One roll at a time.
Yep.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
See you next episode. Good job.
Nice.